Thank you for staying with us. Nigeria's opposition parties are closing ranks ahead of the 2027 general election, forming a united front to challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress. In a strategic move, several parties have agreed to work together under a common platform, signaling a major political realignment. The coalition says its goal is to rescue the country from economic hardship, insecurity, and what it describes as failed leadership. While details of the final structure are still unfolding, some say the alliance will present a credible and united alternative in the next election cycle, but others say they are no match for the ruling party. Now, joining us via Zoom for this conversation is PR consultant, public affairs analyst Ambrose Igboke. Ambrose, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Veronica. Good to see you again.
Same here. Now, what were your first impressions when you heard about this new coalition, especially those that are coming together to form this coalition? Do you see anything inspiring about them, and would it change the dynamics of the 2027 election?
Well, 2 years to elections are very interesting times in the Nigerian political landscape. I remember vividly that in 2013, 2 years to the election of 2015, was when the CPC, ACN, and splinter groups from PDP, called themselves New PDP, joined forces together to form the APC. And we saw the monumental shift in power equation that they caused in 2015. Now they are here now again. 2 years to, we saw that again in 2021, 2022. Then we saw this again happening now. What is happening is just the normal thing that happened in Nigeria. People who feel, they were not accommodated in their own political party due to the alignments and realignments that have taken place in the last 2 years, are also having, come together with one vision. But my problem is always that the vision they always have is that they want to remove the incumbents. That was what happened in 2015. I don't think that should be the case. You should not, your whole vision is not just to remove the incumbent. It should be that you're having a better alternative. And that is what we didn't interrogate in 2015. And the alternatives we got finally was not better in 2015. So I think Nigeria should not be deceived. It should be very clear that any coalition that wants to deal with the issues should face the issues that Nigerians are facing and offer us better alternative. But just to say, that Tinubu is not good, we need to boot him out, those are not visions. Those are just political pep talks. As it concerns 2027, well, Nigeria's election landscape is very, very unpredictable. You cannot really predict it. That is why we say that 24 hours is a lot of time in a Nigerian election. But as it is now, we just hope that they will present a credible opposition and that internal wranglings will not even destroy them.
So if I may quickly butt in, are you saying that you are not seeing them as a credible alternative for Nigerians?
Well, it's too early to say. But what we see is just that there are people who have grievances with their political party. For example, the group from the Labour Party, we could see that they are there because of the infractions and the squabbles happening in the party. We could also see that Mr. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, because of the issues they have at the PDP, where basically one man and the chairman of the party have hijacked it without consultation with other members. So they feel that is also what is happening in the Southeast Caucus of the PDP, where the national chairman and the FCT minister seem to just run the party on their own and going against what the caucus of the Southeast zone is saying. So you can see that this PDP is in disarray. So you would not begrudge anybody that leaves the party what will turn out to be the carcass of the party for those two people to run. Then you can also see that the other things are also unfolding. So this is a kind of an amalgamation of interested parties, which is what politics is all about. It would be unfair to start judging these people, whether they are credible or not, because these are people who have had very high authority positions in Nigeria. And so their credibility is not in doubt. What we will start interrogating is whether they have a better alternative. and they have to prove to Nigerians that they are better. If not, we will not just look at it in the basis of sentiments and that, oh, you want to get Tinubu out. That should not be the mission. The mission is, what are you offering Nigerians?
Okay. My concern about this coalition is that all the big names in that coalition are interested in being Mr. President at the end of the day. And there are so many now, and they are all wearing the same, or they are all living in the same room, if I could say that. Don't you think that will form a major obstacle in the coalition?
But the beauty of democracy is that it allows anybody to aspire. So even somebody who could not win local government election in his village or his ward has aspired to be president. And a lot of people who have been presidents didn't win election in their own ward. Any Nigerian can aspire to be president, and that is the constitutional right. Now, what happens is that when personal and self-interest clashes with national interest, that is where we start having issues. We saw it in the primaries of even all the political parties happening, where one loses primaries, the next thing he does is to switch parties. Yeah. And that's what has happened now. You are right. There are so many contending interests here. Two very, very prominent presidential candidates in the 2023 elections are there. We're talking of Mr. P2B and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. They were very, very prominent. I think they came second and third, respectively, in the 2023 presidential election. So you can see that they are not pushovers. Now, the main alignments and realignments will be who will be their presidential candidate. That is the question to ask. And then if personal preservation comes to place above national interest, then they will have problem in the coalition, because there are so many bigwigs there who are interested. But if they want the national interests above their personal interest, maybe they could come with a sort of reconciliation, a sort of
compromise,
giving and giving. But again, there's a caveat. P2B may be in a very serious quagmire here, because it has the Southeast rightly feels that they have a right to take a slot to the presidency, and that has been her support base. Also, that's why in the last election it was voted in. If he, on the other hand, agrees to be a vice president to somebody else, then he may lose his support base, basically, in the Southeast. And that will cause a lot of problem for the coalition. It is a very dicey situation. From what I'm also looking at, Atiku Abubakar does not seem like somebody who will agree not to run. So what will be his role in the new coalition if he's not the presidential flag bearer? So you can see already the problems are already emerging. But we watch and see how it pans out, because Nigerian politics can be very intriguing.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you look at the number of people that have come together, people are asking questions. How many governors do they have? They have governors in the APC, ruling party, and there's some governors in the PDP. So no governor behind them, and it might be difficult for them to answer. But I want you to specifically, react to the internal wrangling in the party that has just been announced, the ADC, because the former presidential candidates of that party, Dumebi Kachukwu, is saying that they came through the back door, and this borders on transparency. Could you speak to this, issue that will come up, legal landmines that might affect them come 2027 regarding how they join the party?
Well, I think they joined the party early, but I was actually, let me also say this, that I was actually surprised that they settled for ADC. I was actually thinking that they will register a new political party, just like what some coalitions did in 2013. The CPC, ACN, and the NPDP, and just some splinter group from ANPP, which was just a fresh political party. The 5 blocks came together, formed a political party, and then sat down to discuss how, zoning, positionings, and all those things are going to be. And, brought out Muhammadu Buhari as their flag bearer. I think that is the clean way to go. But going to another party and then checking up the structure, we also bring up this cog in the wheel of our progress, because Wosu is there saying that he's the authentic national chairman. Some other the presidential candidates, former presidential candidates, are also saying that, look, there was no consultations made to them and all those things. Surely, this will bring legal fireworks in the future. How they will navigate that remains to be seen. And I'm looking to something that may happen, because this is not like what happened in the Labour Party. In the Labour Party in 2023, a presidential candidate was welcomed with his own team, and they agreed that, look, okay, let him fly the party flag. But this is very different. A coalition coming together cannot form his own party. I'm very surprised, actually. Then what's settled for a structure and picked, this thing, you're going to be a problem, because we'll soon start seeing court cases here and there. And depending on what the court say.
Mr. Boke, let me take you back on something you mentioned a little earlier when you talked about personal interest and national interest. And sometimes when we use that word, personal interest, and at the same time we say that it is okay for anyone to aspire, to have an aspiration. I'm just wondering, because it sounds like two and one of the same to me. You can have aspiration, but then it is also your personal interest. Isn't it okay to have a personal interest for national development? Can't we say that that could be the case? And also, I'm also looking at the conversation around ideology. Do we have, as a PR consultant, do we have any political party in this country that is standing distinctively on a national ideology? Do we have any?
Well, I don't think you can accuse the political parties of not standing behind any national ideology, because Nigeria as a nation does not have a national ideology. Ooh. So we have to start rethinking who we are and what we are. Because if you ask any Nigerian, what's your national ideology? We don't have any. So it is when a country has a national ideology that now the political parties can anchor on that and adopt and adapt. But for now, we don't have any. So what the parties now come up with are manifestos. And these manifestos look like something that have been revised over the years. Remember 1979, where the same thing, food for all, shelter for all, health for all, education for all in the year 1990. When 1990 got closer, they say, oh, the year 2000. 2000 has get closer now, nobody is even giving us any dates anymore. So we remember that the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, even denied his own party manifesto, and he said he didn't author it, as if he flew on a personal interest. So personal interest is ends at the aspiration level. National interest is that, why are you going there? Why are you aspiring? Is what answers the national question. Right. So if why you are aspiring is just to say, oh, I want to be president, and when you get there, you are at loss, don't know what to do with it. Or, oh, I want to satisfy my ambition, or I want to enrich myself, or I want my people to have a feel of what the presidency is all about. Those are pecuniary personal interests. But when you say, oh, I want to move this nation from point A to point B, out to point C, then we can have national interest. National interest is where you are selfless. And for that, we have not seen that so far. And that is the tragedy of the Nigerian trajectory.
We'll have to leave this conversation here now. Dr. Ambrose Igboke, PR consultant, public affairs analyst, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you all for having me this morning.
You're welcome.